once again. I'm really, really happy to see you here. Let's wait for the silence a little bit. Your Excellencies, over here. Yes, we have the ambassadors over here and Charge d'Affaires from UK and US embassies. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to welcome you here in our new TechHub Riga space. We have moved in just a few days ago, and it's really exciting to see how it's changing over the hours. And briefly, tonight's evening will look a little bit like this. We will have speeches from, firstly, from Gary Whitehill, who is an entrepreneurial speaker, and he will share a motivational speech about entrepreneurship. Then we will have Andris Berziņš, who is a TechHub Riga chairman. He will tell more into detail the story about TechHub Riga, how it has grown over the years, and will give us more detailed insights about us. And of course, we will have announcements or few words for each of the excellencies. The Israeli ambassador, Mrs. Hagid Ben Yaakov, Sharon Hudson-Dean from US Embassy, and Mr. Ian Frew from UK Embassy. Then we will also have the speech from Klaus Vasks, who's representing Latvian government, Latvian Guarantee Agency, but also some words from the Latvian government. And last but not least, some announcements about what it will look in the future, some of our latest launches. And then, of course, some networking with wine over there and beer, whatever are your preferences. So, firstly, I give the word. Before I give the word, if anyone is using the Wi-Fi to tweet or to share the news, there's La Telecom free Wi-Fi. No passwords required. Then I would also like a little moment of silence in order to remember the last year's tragic moment. Because last year, in this very exact date, there was a tragedy in Zolitude, and please give us a moment of silence. And to continue on more positive notes, because we are here for a happy gathering, I will give my microphone to Gary Whitehill.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is nice to see all of you here. I'm fortunate. This is my 58th day on the road. I've been in 19 countries, so I'm on a 60-day, 20-country global speaking tour. And I just happened to, thanks to the nice people here, be here in Latvia for my first time. So my background is in building and scaling startups globally. I've also done corporate innovation at Dell, where we engaged entrepreneurs and built a program from $1 million in revenue to $250 million in 3 years. And I've done local, state, and federal policy work on entrepreneurship and innovation, and also done the Young G20 and the Young G8 Summit. And you know, I'm going to be really brief because ambassadors deserve much more time than me. To be honest with you, the reason everybody's here in this room is because everybody believes in one thing, right? We all believe in the opportunity to create. Entrepreneurship and innovation, these are kind of these high-level, foo-foo-y words, but at the end of the day, all of us are passionate about something. We're passionate about building policy that enables people. We're passionate about building products that people use to make a better life. We're passionate about building a company that employs people so they can feed their families, whatever it is. And it's places like this, TechHub, that make the difference in entrepreneur communities. I was fortunate to help build and scale 4 entrepreneur communities on 4 continents in the past 6 years. And although this space by itself seems like a lone outlier, it's these types of cauterizing moments right now that change the game for how people cognitively think about the risk of taking that leap to create, whether it's an idea, whether it's a company, whether it's a partnership, whether it's policy, whatever it is. It's these things, these moments right now, that are what is going to make the difference for Riga and this country in general, and also the region. So I appreciate that you guys had me here. I appreciate everybody who's in attendance, and I wish you all a good evening. Thank you. Do I introduce you, or who do I introduce next? Uh-oh, our MC went bye-bye. I'll give it to the other boss.
There we go.
She's busy. And back to our MC.
Thank you. So the next one will be on the stage, Andris Berziņš. He's the chairman of TechHub Riga, and the story about the TechHub.
Thanks, Alisa. Alisa, of course, has been working hard, and she forgot to introduce herself. Alisa Lezdinja, CEO of TechHub, running the team here. So first, I'd like everyone to come a little closer, because I feel like 3 meters is a bit too far to talk, because we're actually quite friendly here. I was thinking last night about what TechHub is, and try and find an analogy. And I think the analogy that I would use is that we're actually building a nest. We're building a nest for eagles to fly. If you think about that analogy, an eagle is a great bird, right? And we have the belief that this country has the capability to produce eagles, as in technology startups that are able to build large, scalable, world-class global companies selling to the world from a tiny country like Latvia. And the thing is that they need a place to start. And so that's what TechHub is here for. But we're actually a nest out of which these eagles eventually need to fly themselves and leave. So as we've been working on this, on TechHub things for the last 3 years, it's become clear to me that Latvia has all the right ingredients for these companies to emerge, actually in quite large numbers. So we have very strong arts design, and design is becoming much more important in products today than it was perhaps 10 years ago. We have technology, we have great universities, hard sciences. We all complain and whine about how good they are now, but relatively speaking, I think we're very strong. And we also have people who know how to build businesses, and more of them as every day runs by. So as we look at today, the question is, what's different about the opportunity now than it was before? So to those of you who are working in startups, this is all sort of obvious, but the internet and mobile revolution has really changed the opportunities that companies have in small places like Latvia. So what it's meant is that payments are globalized, so you can launch a company and you can sell to someone sitting at home in Idaho, and they have no idea that they're buying from a company in Latvia. They're paying with their Visa card, and they're buying a product on the web, and it all works, right? And this wasn't the case 10 years ago. And we sometimes forget that in the speed at which things are happening. But that's opened up a whole load of opportunities that weren't there before. The ability to use cloud computing and host your servers wherever allows you to start with much less money and much more effectively. So 14 years ago, when I started working in tech startups, Silicon Valley was completely dominant and had a massive advantage over all of the rest of the world. And now it's not just London, Berlin, and other large cities that have technology centers and ecosystems, but also lots of smaller cities, Lisbon, Zagreb, Helsinki, Tallinn, Riga, all of them. When you think about examples like Prezi, so for those of you who use the presentation software, they just announced yesterday they have 50 million users. They're a company from Hungary, headquartered now in Silicon Valley, but all of their engineering and product is in Hungary, doing very well, and a great example of how a company can scale from a country that's not in the middle of the technology ecosystem. So the opportunity is there, but there are obviously a lot of challenges, and in Latvia we still see plenty of them. If you're sitting here, you're not in the fastest flow of information and ideas, which happens in some of the bigger cities. You don't have as many role models locally. You don't have access to financing that you might have in London or the Valley. And the broader issue is that the consumers, people here, don't necessarily understand what startups are doing and why it's important. And hence the concept of a nest, a place where we can help the startups get their first steps, get it rolling, and be a bit more protected. So the ecosystem here has changed dramatically since we started TechHub three years ago. I mean, I came back from the US 9 years ago, and there wasn't an ecosystem at all. About 3.5 years ago, I went to the Open Coffee Club events, which Ernest Stahls, one of our co-founders, was organizing. And that was the first place where I met people who were talking in the same way that you might talk in Silicon Valley. Right, and so thanks to Ernest for starting those, and that was the genesis of TechHub. So he, I, and a few other people got together, and the meetups got bigger. We didn't drink coffee, we drank beer, and we eventually outgrew the bar. And for those of you who were out originally opening, you saw that we managed to find a space, and we understood that there was a need for a single space where the startups could all be together. They could learn from each other, rely on each other, get help, and where others from the outside could come. So since then, the results have been amazing. I mean, part of it was joining up with TechHub, so not reinventing the wheel. We joined with TechHub, which is based in London, exactly the same concept as they have there. They've given us a lot of support, and that has meant that we can get off the ground faster. And even though it's just 3 years and the Eagles are still young, as it were, we've had some great results. So the company probably most talked about is Infogram. The two founders of Infogram started their company in TechHub, and since then they've moved to another office in Latvia. They have, I think, over 40 people now. They raised $2.7 million in funding. The business is growing well. But there's plenty others out there. Cobook, Reachly, Max Traffic, and so on. All of these members who are building startups that are growing nicely. So we actually have 27 alumni startups, 27 companies that have been members and now have moved on somewhere else. And what surprises me most is that a good portion of them are still alive. Right? Because those of you who know the statistics know that probably 9 out of 10 startups die. Well, we have much better statistics here. So basically, you know, when I talk to the Estonians and Lithuanians, the fact that they say, your startup scene is looking really hot. You're doing the right things up there. That means we're doing something right. And I think things are developing very nicely. So let me just say a few words about what's important, what makes the difference, because I think it's worth spending a little time on that. Because people tend to think about physical space first, right? So you run a co-working space. And a physical space is important. It does make the first start easier. So over there, you see desks, and those desks are for people who can start, you know, a single guy has an idea, and for now, 100 euros a month, he can get a desk which he can put his computer down on the next day, and he can get going. Doesn't need to worry about renting an office, you know, people talking in the coffee shop or whatever. It's a quiet place to work. But it's not just the physical space, it's the community. So it makes it easier to hire team members. You have like-minded people. So the kitchen here, we call the most important room. Because the kitchen is where you go make a cup of coffee and you meet the other guy who's also working on trying to connect his app to Facebook and can't get that API working, and you guys together figure out a solution, right? Or someone else who happens to have been to Finland last week and met someone who might be a useful contact for you. So those kind of things are really important. We also, with the opening of this new space, we've also become more proactive in doing mentoring. So until now, the number one question I've had asked is, do you have a mentoring program? Do you help sort of consult the startups and so forth? And we've said nothing official. We just didn't have the resources. Well, now we do. We actually have a program that we're starting now with regular mentoring sessions on legal, technology, and so forth. For the last 3 years, the law office of Reidler, Lynch and Nordquist has run regular office hours, but aside from that, we haven't been able to offer anything. So that's changing now. And then besides this immediate community, the other benefit is the broader community. So we run regular monthly meetups where anyone can come, and we hear entrepreneurs' war stories, which are very educational in terms of the mistakes not to make. And then we run an annual conference. We run a startup academy. So actually in this space, tomorrow and Sunday, there will be a pitch and entrepreneurship workshop with 10 teams that have applied. And we have mentors helping them get their business early stage off the ground, polish their idea, polish their pitching so they can get going. And the last is the access to the international network. So the other reason for working with TechHub is our members can go to London. They have a place to work. They can go to other TechHub locations. And international investors and other visitors will come here. They'll email us and say, who do we need to meet? Where are the hot startups? We'll say, come here. And that gives our members many more opportunities to meet the right people. It's also helped, obviously, that we've had, as Alice has said, collaboration with the embassies, so we can get speakers, we can get programs and everything, whatever can help the entrepreneurs. So physically about this space, what's new? This is double the size of what we used to have. We were in temporary spaces for 9 months, so for all of you out there who are TechHub members, I thank you for your patience. It was a pain in the neck, and we understand that. But we've finally got to the new space. There are still some things to iron out, we know that, but this is great. It's double the space, and the biggest difference is that upstairs, and for those of you who haven't been, after we do all the talks, you can have a look upstairs. There are team spaces where there are glassed off areas for teams. That was the biggest thing that teams wanted. They didn't want to leave when they were too big to sit in an open plan co-working. They wanted their own space, but together with a community. So we've been able to do that. And we have this space for 10 years. So this gives us stability to run this. We can grow the co-working all through this room. We actually will have the 4th floor downstairs to run events. So as soon as we run out of that half of the room, we can fill this and use the 4th floor for large events. So it's a perfect place for us in a wonderful location, and we even have an outdoor terrace upstairs. So if you come back here at 11 p.m. in the summer, you'll see guys coding out on the terrace, sipping a beer, right? And there's nothing like coding under the stars, right? So some other news in terms of what's changed. So one of the most important things, basically, when people ask, what do you get here? Well, you get a desk and internet. And the internet is actually even more important than the desk, because everyone here is a tech startup. So yesterday we announced a new partnership with La Telecom. La Telecom has wired this whole place. We have optical, we have Wi-Fi, we have great internet, which is sort of the backbone for everything that happens here. So thank you, La Telecom. Thank you, Kerli, here's for your support. And in addition to providing the infrastructure, they're also going to be much more involved in our events. They'll be streaming all of our meetup events and our annual conference live, which means we can also reach more people in the country who might want to be entrepreneurs, who might want to be in a tech startup, get educated, get informed, and hopefully build that community even bigger. So this whole endeavor is a great example of social entrepreneurship. So TechHub Riga was started as a foundation. It's a non-profit. Our goal is to have more than 0 in the bank account at any time. We've managed to keep it that way until now, but we don't have a profit goal, and that means a number of things. So first, the members are actually paying part of the costs. So a good deal of the funding comes from members paying fees. There's nothing for free here. It's basically, you could think of it as a subsidized working space. So the member fees will cover anything from half to 2/3 of the cost, depending on how full we are. But we also are raising money. So we've actually started a fundraising campaign with one of our startups called It's Fundaful, an online campaign, which if you follow the TechHub news, you can find the link to. We've already raised 3,000 euros. And we're actually offering sponsorship for desks. So actually you can donate 500 euros and have a desk with your name on it, that you're actually supporting a real entrepreneur building a real business. So the first 4 desks that we have sponsored are from Imprimatur Capital, Hansa Elektronika, Lauris Liepa of Barenius Attorneys, and Uldis Karinč. So they're the first 4. There are plenty more desks to sponsor. So if anyone has 500 spare euros they want to put in a good cause, we thank you. We also have smaller sponsorship. I don't actually see them. There's TechHub mugs somewhere. So you can actually go online, you can donate 50 euros and you can get a mug with your name on it and your inspirational quote, which will then be used by an entrepreneur here during the day while they're working. Right? It's a great value for money, I think. So I have a lot of pages here, and unfortunately most of them are going to be quite long. But let me start with the thank yous, because as I said, social entrepreneurship happens only when a lot of people do a lot of things out of the goodness of their heart. And the first, I already thanked the members for their patience in waiting for this space. But there is a special category of members that we have from when we started called founder members. So just like TechHub in London, when they started, they asked a number of people if they were willing to pay 3 years of membership up front in order to support the startup costs. And this commitment we also asked from a bunch of people, and I'd like to have your indulgence to read the names of the people who supported us from day one, because this was before we had anything. This was faith, right? So Toivo Anos, one of the original Skype founders, Jānis Bergs, Normunds Bergs is here, thank you. Robert Desisi, Bardemurad Gulmedov, Andrei Ivashins, Vitalis Rubštins, and Aya Perta, who are all from Rubylight. Martin Sjaunarais from Boltcap, Mars Jonovs, Ojars Josts, Ingrid Karin Berzin, and Gunter Ziele from Riedler Leens and Norkus. Armand Sleimans, Johan Lorenzen from Sunstone Capital, Alexeis Mialeks, who's still a member, and he put up money up front. Toby Moore, Imprimatur. Gunter Strasts is also a member, so probably here as well. Andrei Sergeyevs, Andrei Strots, Igor Sudmalis, Christian Testman, Anatolis Ropotovs, Yanis Viklis, Jose Cristobal Alonso Martin, Rokas Tomashunias from Startup Highway in Lithuania. All these people put money up front in a promise that we were going to make this happen, so I'd like to thank them. We also started with some initial supporters and sponsors. Tele and LMT were sponsors from the early days, which we appreciate. They also helped us get going. UKTI has supported a number of our events. The Draugiem Group and Microsoft as well. Riedler Leens and Norkus, as I said, offered their office hours from day one. And partner organizations like IT Cluster, the Latvian University Student Incubator, SSC Riga, and Garage 48 are all ones that we've worked with and have helped us get things going. So we did have a first home, so I believe quite a few of you visit us in Citadel Ciela. And I'd like to thank the owners of that space as well, Jerry Worth and David DeRoos, for the opportunity to be there, because they were the guys who signed a lease agreement with a non-profit foundation that had no money in the bank, which was very kind of them as well. And our first TechHub manager was Zane Berzinja. I'm not sure if she's here tonight. Zane? Is Zane here? Okay, Zane was with us until she went on maternity leave. And then we've been working with the government. So the government for us is a difficult thing because we're entrepreneurs and we like to do things on our own, right? But we have had some support from the government. We've had lots of discussions about what to do with innovation and entrepreneurship. But the Latvian Guarantee Agency, the Ministry for Economy, and Leah have all been supportive various of our efforts, events, and we thank them for that help. I'm on the last page, I promise. So then we get to a new home. So how did we actually get here? So Alex Blumenthal is somewhere here in the room. So we actually met with Alex, who's going to be running an organization on the 4th floor. And he had heard about TechHub and was excited about it, and he actually introduced us to the owners of this building. So Baltic Ray, the owners of the building, were very kind to believe in this concept and come up with a deal that worked for us. So actually these top 3 floors, including Alex and his partner's space, will be all innovation spaces. And that's meant that we can actually afford to be here. And we are here. And Baltic Ray, I know, have been doing a lot of work to try and get this done. We have electricity now. I can tell you it wasn't the same way this morning. But we're very grateful that we have electricity now. So the last person that helped us get into our new home is Guntis Berziņš, who helped finance this so we can get over the cash flow hump of being in a more expensive space. So then we have new supporters. I mentioned La Telecom, strategic partner, an infrastructure supporter. Trinity Law Firm is actually going to be sponsoring a meeting room. So over there's a big empty corner. Well, there will be glass walls there that will close off 2 meeting rooms on this floor, and one of them will be the Trinity meeting room, and we thank them for their support. And you also see the inspiring posters around the walls, the bullshit-free zone, etc. These are from Startup Vitamins. It's a spin-off of the Draugiem Group, who have donated these inspiring posters. And then we have the mentors I mentioned, who are donating office hours. So people like Jānis Skutelis, Signe Schneiderman, who does fantastic accounting for startups, Arturs Mednis, Andris Rubins, Egils Boitmans, Ingrid Kariņš-Bērziņa, Leo Saljavo, from the University of Latvia, and the TechHub board members are all donating their time to help startups. If you want to be part of that mentoring group and you think you have something to help, please, we'd be happy to have some more. So I'm going to stop with the list now, and the only one I want to have up is all the board members. So we have a bunch of board members. Come on, Anna, Maris. I think Anna's the only one missing. Where's everyone? Viesturs, Gunnars. Anna's the only one missing? Yeah. And Raimonds needs to come up. So the TechHub board is getting quite big, and we like it that way because there's a lot to do. And so the first thing we're actually doing is today we're announcing that Raimonds Kulbergs is joining our board. Thank you. Raimonds left Deloitte Consulting to start his startup, has been in TechHub since then, has been helping us out. So he's the guy who heads up It's Fundaful, that's running our crowdfunding campaign. So he's been helping us out with that. Smart, great guy, and we're very happy to have him on the board to help TechHub develop. So the only person we're missing here is Anna Andersson. So Maris Dadjis is CEO of Selfie, Anna Stahls, CEO of Reachly, Gunnars Gunstock, CEO of Rent Mama, and Viestur Sosars, Real Sound Lab, SSE Riga, and many other jobs at the same time. So we're an all-volunteer board. We try and do the best to make this run, and we appreciate your patience that it's not always perfect. So actually the main other change that's going to happen in the board is that I will be stepping down as chairman. I've decided I need to spend a bit more time on some business things, and I also think it's, with a new space, it's the right time for a change of leadership. So Anders has been kind enough to step up and take the chairman role, and I'd like to thank him for his courage. And on a personal note, I think my wife is not here yet. She had to run off for a meeting. But anyway, I'd like to thank her in her absence for her patience in putting up with me doing so much on TechHub and not working on things that pay. But it's been a wonderful journey. So I don't know if you want to say any words, Ernest?
It's actually a return for me. As I started the beer drinking stuff each month, and then I was joined by Gunnars, and we started to organize events, and then Andres came around, and so we had this community, beer drinking community with events, and we created space. And I was like moving away for a while from the things. And then as I think it was from The Godfather, when you think you're out, it pulls you back. And so yeah, I'm back on a journey. And I think it's we are at that point where everyone is looking for that hockey stick thing. Where's the hockey stick? Where's the hockey stick? Where's the hockey stick for Latvian startup culture? And I think we are at a point, for those of you who might not know what is hockey stick, basically it's the things go a bit faster, and then they just hit and they go skyrocket. And that's what every investor, every startup looks for. And I think as a startup community, we are there to get that hockey stick. All the ingredients are there. There are people, there are space, there's support from the government, there are that spirit in the air. And so let's do this shit, as we tell in the startups.
Thank you, board members. Your involvement has been amazing. Next, I would like to ask up on the stage, since we have been collaborating with UKTI and UK Embassy for since old times, since we were in the last space. Please, Mr. Ian Frew, the Charge d'Affaires from UK Embassy.
Thank you very much, Elsa, and thank you for inviting me to this wonderful space and this great evening. I have pretty fast internet at home, and I also have building work going on in my home. So I felt right at home as soon as I walked in the front door downstairs. But it's looking amazing, and there are clearly some really talented people here today. I am happy that the British Embassy is able to continue its collaboration here. We were here at the conception. TechHub Riga was the first franchise outside of TechHub London, and it's amazing to see what it's grown into here. And I'm proud to see that it's moved into this amazing space. The number of residents here has increased, I think, in just a couple of years, from 25 to 90. And the amount of investment coming in is, I hear, over €2.5 million. So there's clearly a lot of energy and a lot of business coming this way. And I think this is really important for a lot of the things that we as government officials talk about all the time in terms of growth and jobs. So politicians, officials, we think jobs are very important, growth is very important, but the thing is we don't actually create them. It's entrepreneurs that are doing this business. So I think, seeing the development of entrepreneurship and the tech businesses here having such success, that's really what's important. Now, as you're growing your businesses, and to use Andrus's analogy, if you are young eagles moving towards the edge of the nest, you'll kind of reach a point where you're thinking, what next? Where should I fly to? And I, of course, think you should fly to the UK. So if you'll allow me, I'll say a few words about why I think the UK is also a great destination for entrepreneurs that are looking to take their business to the next level in tech. In the first instance, the UK's business environment, predictable, open, stable, low regulation. In the second instance, I think the UK is still a huge magnet for investment, and over 20% of the EU's foreign direct investment comes to the UK. So those looking for funding, those looking for opportunities to grow and get money to kind of come up to the next level, the UK is a great destination for that. You'll already know that the UK is a centre for talent and ideas, and I think that mix of bringing talent from a hub like this and mixing it with talent and ideas in London in particular is a great opportunity. And we have quite a few government programs and incentives for those who want to expand their businesses in the UK. But the most important thing on this, I should point out, if you want to find out more information about how to grow your business and take it to the UK, is UK Trade and Investment. We have a team here at the embassy. If you haven't met them already, then please do get to know them, and they can tell you much more. We have one of my colleagues from the team here, Roland Kumpins. Roland, can you? Please say hello to him later. But I'll keep it short and sweet now. Thank you very much, and I hope that next time I'm here, it's to open an even bigger space. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to ask Israeli Ambassador Mrs. Hagit Ben Yaakov. We have been organizing events with Israeli Embassy since, I think, 2013. The first project was pitch competition, Start Tel Aviv, and our team actually went to Israel to visit events and investors and meetings. And there have been some more events. So Hagit Ben Yaakov, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, everyone. So I think there is a custom when you launch a new boat that you build, you are breaking it somewhere. But no, but yeah, no. I think it's no way. It's too expensive for that. But I just thought, symbolically, to bring you our Israeli wine. So you can keep it there, and I promise whenever you invite me, I will bring you one more. So you will be able to, to have all the people drunk eventually. Ernest, you mentioned the matters of the heart. So you got our heart already 3 years ago when we started talking to you and learned the Tech Hub. And since then, we're just cooperating more and more. And we bring more and more guests from Israel. And I'm very lucky that, not like Ian, I don't need to present Israel because we already presented on this stage the wonderful opportunities in Israel and how we can cooperate with you. For me, it's really a privilege. You think about Israel, small Israel, and on one side it's the UK, and the other side is the US. So just that own fact talks for itself, speaks for itself. Thank you so much. I think it's really important to have such a great home. And I was looking at the upper floor. It looks really great. I would love coming working here. Yeah, thank you. So good luck to you, good luck to everyone. I'm sure the wonderful atmosphere that is here will continue to accompany you wherever you go, and wonderful things will be created from here. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Now I would like to ask Mrs. Sharon Hudson-Dean from US Embassy. We have also been organizing some events together, some workshops, and we hope to collaborate even in the future with speakers, etc.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to be here today, and I'd like to say that, like Andres, I feel a personal connection from my past in coming here. I previously worked in Southern Africa for 6 years, and my last assignment was in Zimbabwe, where with a group of other very interested and supportive donors, the US Embassy helped to launch the first tech hub in Harare. In the lead up to that, I was able to visit the tech hubs in Uganda and in Zambia, and it really gave me a lot of hope and encouragement for the educated, dynamic, young, creative people that I found there, who for us certainly we see as the future of really a better, progressive, and economically advanced Africa. And so I was very excited before even coming to Latvia to learn that there was a tech hub here, to know that the energy and the dynamism and the creativity that I had gotten a little bit familiar with before was here and doing well and thriving. And so I was very happy to see that the US Embassy was already very engaged with the Tech Hub here, that the community is so well developed, and that there is a lot happening to launch new businesses, to really, as you said, engage the young, smart people that are here. For us, we've been spending a lot of time and money in the last few weeks to promote entrepreneurship. This week is Global Entrepreneurship Week. And so the U.S. Embassy, for the second year in a row, has run a series of programs and outreach activities. We had a boot camp at our embassy last week where we brought in 30 Latvian entrepreneurs and a series of speakers to talk about networking, to talk about finding investment capital, to talk about branding and marketing. And we were happy that TechHub participated in that as well. We look forward to doing that in the future, possibly here, if you would welcome that, and to doing other things. I also would like to note that I had a chance to go out and visit several small women-owned businesses here in Riga, which is very close to my heart. It's great to see that you have a woman here running the TechHub, and I hope that you will do outreach to bring more women into technology and into starting small businesses through technology. I think that's also something that is very important that a hub can do. And I would just like to wrap up by saying that I present a challenge to you. I've been here in Latvia for 4 months. I spent a year in the United States going through consultations, studying Latvian, learning about the culture. And one of the things in the US that a lot of people are not very familiar with the Baltic countries, but one thing they all know, they know Skype, they know it's from Estonia. So my challenge to you is, I hope that in 2 years' time, or 3 years, when I go back to the US, that all the Americans will say, oh yes, that company, that's from Latvia. Just like they say that about Skype. And I have full confidence you can do it. So congratulations. Definitely, we look forward to future programs, bringing in speakers, responding to your interest and requests, and working as a full partner. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I would like to ask Mr. Klaus Vasks from Latvian Guarantee Agency. They have been supporting all the previous meetups that have happened in TechHub in Old Space, and we really plan to collaborate in the future. Thank you very much.
Latvians have a tradition, and ladies bring wine, and men brings the flowers to the host. So that's all is for you. Okay, well, thank you for inviting. Of course, it's been already a 2.5 year road together with the TechHub, and I just remember how it started. So my colleague Krishanis came to us in a board meeting and told, well, I know some people, there is an organization like a TechHub. Well, they are meeting up technology geeks and doing some programming and, well, maybe doing some good stuff. And actually we could sponsor them a beer. I thought, wow, I mean, for a government-owned institution, that would be a challenge. Of course, well, we met with Andris, Ernest, and other folks around that time, and we were creative in our accounting, and I hope Ministry of Finance will not come tomorrow and punish me, but so, and that relation is already up for 2.5 years, approximately. And basically, that was a journey when we started to think about, I mean, what we are doing and what we can do different. And basically, LGA is about investing, and we are creating a funds and investing in venture funds, which later invest in startups, and also working with a different kind of access of the making an access for companies to the money around different financial instruments. And what we missed at our sort of landscape was well, the people who were physically doing, who is consuming this money, how we can encourage and facilitate more new startups. And actually, some 2 years ago, we started slowly to think about how we could help to the ecosystem. And basically, with the help of TechHub, this was our first project. Then we have, during the last few years, supported already some spin-offs of the TechHub and different kind of meetups and initiatives like TechHub. And basically, today we have separately designated a program for different kind of startup meetup activities, which are sort of officially approved by the government, and we give that money to help to the people to meet and meet investors and get the best mentors out of what's available and so on. So well, we just think this is great for potential Latvian technology companies, maybe for our next future Skypes, and not only that. And basically, we just try to match the money we own and we can invest through the funds with the people who actually need that money. And basically, we love to do that job. And thank you to TechHub, and I hope many new startups coming out in next coming years, well, really, I just wish success to all the teams who will be joining TechHub, and not only at TechHub, and really sort of to show this hockey stick soon, as Ernest has predicted. So thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you. Now we were supposed to have a speech also by TechHub London, but I don't think Elizabeth has arrived yet. Elizabeth? No, she's not around. So she will join us later on in the evening, but I think she's proud of TechHub expanding. They have expanded also in London, so it shows that TechHub community is growing and startup community is growing, which is a great thing. And now I would like to do some very, very short announcements, because today we have launched another organization supporting entrepreneurship and startups here in Latvia, Riga, and that is Silicon Vikings Riga. Very shortly you can have some words from Richard Allen Horning, who's president of Silicon Vikings.
Thank you. Silicon Vikings is a business networking organization that's focused on bringing collaboration between Silicon Valley and the Nordic and Baltic regions. We have nodes on our network in Stockholm, in Oslo, in Copenhagen. On Tuesday we opened in Helsinki. We opened in Tallinn last summer, and an hour ago we opened here in Riga. And the news has already gone around the world via Twitter. So we're very proud to have this collaboration with TechHub Riga and being supportive of what we're trying to do at Silicon Vikings. And I'd like to echo the comment that was made earlier about what's likely to happen here at TechHub Riga. Just as Skype is identified with Estonia, I happen to be the honorary counsel for Estonia in Silicon Valley. So too do we identify Prezi with Hungary. There's going to be someone like that here in Latvia. Might be Reachly, might be somebody else, but it will happen. I guarantee it. Thank you.
Thanks. And I forgot to mention that I run the local node here in Riga, so I will try to spur better communications between US and Riga. And next announcement is about our TechChill Baltics annual conference. We have set the date for 10th of February. We expect a lot of startups, speakers, great event on chilly, freezing February atmosphere, but with a really cozy and warm communications and networking. So please book the date, and the details will come later. Then I would also like to ask on stage my team, who has helped through the renovation process and managing the Tech Hub while everything is going crazy around. Please welcome my Kristaps and Maria. And there's Maria as well. I don't see her. I don't see her. Okay, we have one more girl, Maria. She's around. She's probably busy solving some technical issues or something, pouring wine maybe. Now I see also Zana, who is from first Tech Hub manager. Zana, we missed you earlier, but now please come on stage. So thank you everybody. There are girls who have poured loads of voluntary time to make this happen. So it's really, really great. Thanks for all of you. Okay, and if I have forgotten anything, or if anybody has some gifts or whatever, we are welcome. Otherwise, we will have the networking session. There will be after party here, like for about an hour or so, and then after party in the mill bar, meat bar, because we have had some of the Tech Hub meetups held there while we were short of space. So thank you everybody for coming here, and let's enjoy the evening.